When plants whisper, how AI listens to nature's silent conversations. Imagine one day you're in your backyard and your rosebush tells you, I need water or I need food. That is exactly what a future may entail once I talk to you about this new invention. There is a secret life of plants. Now, with your ears, you may think that some plants are silent, they don't do anything, they just sit there. However, this just isn't the case. Plants usually have electrical pulses, subtle signals that detect things like stress, hunger, or thirst. We may usually notice things like drooping leaves or color changing from yellow to brown, indicating a slight message to us. But we can tell so much more through these subtle electrical signals. Why this is an actual captivation, this invention? First of all, as I mentioned before, gardening simplicity. Gardening is a highly unpredictable task. Plants need lots of maintenance, just like us. Water, taking it away from pests. It needs the proper food, it needs a proper environment. And usually with just mere visual or communication cues that we have today, it might be hard for the average gardener to figure out what their plant actually needs. But we have enough of this. We need to stop guessing. Well, maybe it needs this much water, maybe it needs this much sunlight. There's just so much guesswork. But with the plants directly talking to us, we can immediately figure out what's going on with the plant. And in urban areas, in city areas and city environments, there is the most highest concentration of air pollution with smog, smoke, fog. But through these trees have been shown to detect these subtle pollution cues, even before we themselves can see them. And city officials can take the insights from these trees and plan the city infrastructure in a similar way. And forest fires, from California to Canada to even here in our own state of New Jersey, forest fires are a big prevalent concern. The main victim of these is trees. However, using this technology, trees themselves can be able to tell us, well, we are detecting a slight temperature change or a slight ecological change. And firefighters and first responders will be able to figure this out on the spot. So how does this technology work? Here we have a model of a plant. First, flexible chips or earbuds attached to the plant's stem leaf, detecting the subtle electrical pulses. It also detects environmental data, such as the temperature, or the rain weather, or the humidity, to give additional context. Then it gives it to a small AI translator, and over here in this book-sized item, it will translate what's going on and send it to an AI processor, which will then use previous patterns and data to figure it out and give an insightful dashboard, such as the one over here, with needs weather, under attack, nutrient deficient, and other such needed data. So the result? Simple, no crazy output. The whole process runs non-stop in the background. No need for deliberate checks taking out your own time. Simply just pull up your computer and can see what the insights are for the plant. Rather than a bunch of overwhelming charts, numbers, pieces of data like AI generally outputs, this output offers clear, plain English results that the average consumer can understand. So here are some other everyday uses. We always talk about the forest fire areas. And then plants can tell it, well, maybe we can see this. Maybe the temperature is going up. Maybe I can detect more smoke. And firefighters can come in and prepare for this. Because while they might not be able to stop an unpredictable forest fire, many of these forest fires have been shown to be able to be predicted beforehand. And these trees can give insightful information. Home gardens. Many homeowners in suburban and urban areas without farms or agricultural areas have their own home gardens where they have small plants such as fruits, vegetables, or other grains. But these maintenance is really hard, especially for the average consumer. Generally, people who have these gardens are just simple people who do not have agriculture as their main form of knowledge. But with these insights, the people doing these can just easily see, well, the plant needs water, let me give it to them. Having their own homegrown food. Agricultural areas, places such as Kansas or somewhere in the Midwest, they have lots of widespread droughts and plant diseases. Plants can detect for pests in the crop because one pest in the crop can spread rapidly, destroying a whole set of crops. But plants, the beginning of the plant can easily tell them, well, I'm detecting a pest or I'm detecting a disease here. And then farmers can implement solutions accordingly. And as I said before, cities. Cities can have more urban green areas. This will both help the air quality naturally with the increased amount of plants, and also give it key pollution and sound pollution insights. The magic behind it. We take plants for granted in our lives. When you're taking a walk down the sidewalk, you probably ignore or don't even look at the trees and the plants around you. You don't even see them as living things, but plants, just like us, are actually living things. They aren't just an object like this. They're a real living plant. And with this, we can show the plants can tell us that they are really there and gives insight. And we can live alongside plants in a society where both plants and humans live alongside each other. However, there are some key challenges. First of all, environmental static. If you're in a large, busy cafeteria and you're trying to talk to one person, you might not be able to hear exactly what they're saying due to excessive background noise. But with this environmental static, we might have to also tune out this background noise. Or for another speech dialects, a person speaking English might not be able to understand someone speaking Spanish, Hindi, French, or Italian. And like that, plants may have different dialects. After all, plants are very, very diverse. A cactus might not be able to understand or speak the same language as a fern. We might not be able to use the same data that a fern speaks towards a cactus. So we have to have some sort of medium translator between plants. We have to translate cactus language and fern pulses into one common language before being translated, obviously, into English or Italian or whatever language we want to use. And also comfortable. Plants like us are also physical items. They're very fragile. A single nip or a single hit could severely break or damage the plant. So the equipment and the earbuds that we might use have to have lightweight and soft design principles in mind. Our conclusion is, what kind of world are we envisioning? A world where humans and plants live alongside each other, talk to each other. Plants is our different perspective. Plants can go into places where humans cannot. Tight crevices, extreme hot or cold environments. And they can talk to researchers and give us key environmental, weather, cultural, and ecological insight that we would not have gotten before. And soon, we can create a more green world, because with the rise of urban concrete, cement, smog, dust, a more greener world around us will be beneficial for everyone. Thank you. Any questions?